and gentlemen, this is the Rocket Guys podcast, and we're asking the question, what the heck is flying around in New Jersey? It's getting weird out there. And now your hosts, Josh Hammerling and Max McGuire.
Welcome back. Another edition of the Right Guys podcast. My name is Max McGuire.
I'm Josh Hammerling, and oh man, I was thinking today we might be talking about the the CEO assassination murder. We might be talking about the uptick in inflation again, another 1.2%, which is still high. Heck, I thought we might be talking about crazy things in the world, but man, over the weekend and last night, New Jersey was just the sky was full of lights, man. There was some time lapse stuff. It's like, is somebody crisscrossing New Jersey with drones trying to figure out what's going on, or I don't know.
It's interesting, right? I guess we can play one of the clips in case I grew up in New Jersey, not there now. I have parents in New Jersey, but they're not there right now. I'm very limited on my access to people in New Jersey at this very moment. But this is the video that's been going around. Turn the volume down.
And that's the one I want.
It's a time lapse. So you can see the cars. So it's the time lapse isn't that significant. It's not that sped up because the cars are still just going very fast. Those look like drones. Those don't look like your traditional UFOs. But we don't know. Today we had a Congressman Van Drew, came out and declared that he has it on good authority that those drones are actually Iranian drones that came from a mothership off the coast of the United States. I have that clip. It's a long clip, but we won't play the whole thing.
Focus now. Republican Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, member of the House Judiciary Committee on the Hill right now. How do you address this at this point?
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off. I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly.
So that picture right there, it has the standard FAA approved lighting.
Yeah.
Right? It has the green and the yellow alternating sides. That looks like it's a DJI drone. Apparently they're bigger, but if this was a UFO, like an alien UFO, it wouldn't have exactly the right colored lights in exactly the right locations that the FAA requires for any aircraft going into a certain airspace. Right?
Yeah. Truly anomalous videos. You look at it and you're like, I have no idea what this is. I look at this and I think to myself, that looks just like my little Maverick 2, right? It might be a little bit bigger, but it's very similar, and it's not beyond the capacity of any other foreign state to take a small drone and just upscale it. With all the printing technology, and if you got state-sponsored level help, making these drones bigger is not a problem. The problem I'm seeing is that when did Iran get the capacity to have a long-term loitering aircraft, that a mothership that can just hang off the coast of the U.S. and send in drones? Where's our military? Where's the Air Force on this one? Where's the Navy? Where's the Army? It's just being allowed to do this, if this is the case. And this looks conventional. I'll be the first person to say, hey, I think this is a UFO. This looks like, some of the videos look crazy, but this looks normal or unnormal because it shouldn't be there.
Yeah. So the reason that the FAA, I don't know if it's a requirement. It's a very strong recommendation. It might even be a requirement. Requires that the green and the red be on alternate sides of the drone, is so that you can tell the direction that it's moving. Especially if you're piloting this from the ground, you look up how do you know where the orientation is, right?
Yeah.
So you look at the red, you look at the green, you can tell what way it's actually facing. And so you know when you push forward, which direction it's going to go. If it didn't have those lights and it was just hovering and you're spinning it around, you would have no idea, right? So it's very weird to think that there is some surreptitious secret Iranian drone program, but they're using commercial FAA lighting like signals, because the red and the green, that's for if you're piloting it from the ground, being able to tell. If you're piloting it from a ship offshore, you don't need the red and green.
Yeah, why would you even have it light up?
Fly without it. So I wonder whether that isn't a hobbyist drone. I mean, that's the other part of this, right? You can have weird things crashing in New Jersey. As soon as this becomes a story, everyone's gonna be like, oh wow, I want to be part of the story. Let's put our drones up and really freak people out.
Well, what if they're trying to also get video of what is in the sky? I mean, you're going to have people that want to know, so they'll put up their own drones. I mean, it's so easy now. Just
Yeah.
Copycat, not just copycat. I want to know what's going on, and it gets put up there, right?
It has never been easier for you to put something in the air and make people think it's a UFO. I mean, this technology was available years ago. It was like RC planes, right? You could do it, but those things would predictably travel like a plane. When you have quadcopters, when you have drones, you can make them zigzag, go left, right, all crazy directional things that you wouldn't get from a plane. It's just for a congressman to come out and say, I have it on good authority, this is an Iranian drone ship. And there are satellite images of an Iranian drone ship. This isn't like a crazy thing. It's just a boat where they have a bunch of drones on it. Like, these aren't like nuclear aircraft carriers. I could release a drone from my car, right? I take the top off my Jeep, and you don't need a lot of infrastructure to release a drone. You just need a boat that has enough fuel to get where you want it to go, right?
Yeah. It's just
so it's not like it's like, oh wow, they built this huge mothership. I mean, I guess that's the term you'd use for anywhere, any kind of ship where you have lots of little ships flying from it. I don't know.
Well,
give your thought, and then we'll play the Pentagon denying what this congressman just said.
You just got me thinking. Remember when there was balloons that were making its way across? It would be really easy to mount drones in there. I mean, whatever this is, it has to hang out offshore, or it has to hang out outside of airspace or something, and it has to be sent in. My biggest worry is that this is observational.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before D-Day, we had people looking at those beaches, telling us whether it was going to work or not. Is that what this is? And to me, it feels like preparation.
If Iran's not going to launch a ground invasion of the Jews,
don't need to. You just need to. It's just terrorism. You just have to make people think. Like, it's kind of like, you know, when we went and after Pearl Harbor went and bombed.
This isn't surveillance. This is just freaking people out. They're not surveilling anything.
It's mysterious.
It's mysterious. I mean,
what if it's a test, though?
Yeah.
It's the test of how do you respond? And if we just allowed them to keep flying and there was no response, do we have a response? And that might be the test, right? Because drones are taking over the battlefield in Ukraine. Drones will take over the battlefield in the world stage as we move forward, period. It's just going to happen.
I don't know if we've shown the videos of the drones on here. I think we might have once or twice. They're using FPV racing drones, which is where you put goggles on, which are like virtual reality goggles, and you can see through the camera on the front of the drone. They're little. They pack them with a bunch of explosives, and they have like a video game controller, a little RC controller, and those things can book it, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So to look at just the democratization of this technology, you don't need to be an expert in this. Any kid who's ever driven an RC car can fly a drone. Right? And I mean, there are YouTube videos of people putting guns on drones, which is crazy.
And your only limitation is how long it can stay at the battery.
Yeah, the battery. That's the only limitation. So when I see this, it might just be Iranian. If it is Iran, maybe it's just, hey, look what we can do, right? We can actually put. Because that's what the B-2 bomber is all about for the United States. The B-2 bomber, the the reason that we use it when we don't have to is as a show of force. Like, oh, wow, this bomber just took off from North Dakota and flew all the way to Baghdad and dropped its bombs and then flew all the way back to North Dakota. Like, telling the enemy, doesn't matter if you destroy our satellite bases or our allies, we can still strike you from the middle of the United States. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if this is Iran, which the Biden administration is denying, which is wild, it might just be, hey, look what we can do. We could put drones over your cities, and you don't need to have a really complicated system to put a grenade underneath that drone and have the drone just drop a grenade. I mean, that's what they're doing in Ukraine. Right? They have mechanized arms that go at the bottom of the drones holding a grenade, and when they want to drop it, the arm opens, the pin gets pulled, and the grenade just falls straight down. If you wanted to really terrorize a population, you could do that. I mean, like a state actor, a terrorist actor could do that.
Sure.
Now,
heck, cartel could do that, and they're doing it.
Now they'll get hit back harder, far harder, if it's ever proven to be them. But they could cause a lot of chaos. Even a ship that, even a ship that has like a couple hundred DJI drones could cause a lot of chaos. And these aren't the kind of things you can just shoot down. People are saying shoot it down, shoot it down, shoot it down. I don't have one here. Some of these drones are the size of a backpack. I mean, they're saying some are the size of cars, buses. That's where you get into crazy stuff. But the little guys can be the size of a small backpack or a large backpack, right?
I own one of the smallest ones you can have. That's usable, and it fits like right in the palm of my hand.
Yeah, yeah. For offshore stuff, they have to be bigger to have bigger batteries, but it's not that easy to shoot them down. They don't have a huge heat signature, and realize if they're flying over a civilian population, you shoot it down. What did you just do that population underneath them, right?
Yeah.
Like if that missile misses, where's it going to go, right? You don't want that, and you don't want the fireball coming down on top of someone's house, especially if it's just an unmanned, unarmed drone. So there really isn't a good solution. The best solution is to jam the radio frequency so it just falls out of the sky. Now again, you could hit people below, but you'd want to do it when it's over an open area. But the people saying, "Oh, shoot it down." Like if a jet actually switched to guns or missiles to guns and shot it, those bullets have to fall somewhere, and it's a very small target.
Yeah, and really, if you do use a shotgun on one of these, you have to be close, and it's hard as hell to hit. Especially, we've seen the videos in Ukraine of them trying to shoot down with shotguns. It's just not going to work. This reminds me a lot of the V2 rocket that the Germans are using against England. Right, just use them as weapons of terror. Right, just show them that we can attack you at any time. And this might be a flex, especially in the last days of the Biden administration. An administration's not going to do anything about it. They're just not. I mean, they are on their track record says they will just take a back seat and let this stuff happen. They let the balloons go for God knows how long. Do you think they're going to do anything about these drones?
No,
and this is like, what is actually going on in these Defense Department meetings? I mean, do they really know what it is? I mean, is this like a psyop? Is this a test of our own making to see if we can actually defend against it? Because our military is famous for trying to attack itself, and everybody's like, what the heck's going on? And there are some videos out there that people are claiming that some of these things are being shot out of the sky, and there's large fireballs and stuff. And it's like,
so
I don't know. Weapons of terror.
This is how Russia is combating drones. I mean, look at this. This is an anti-drone buggy being tested by Russia. Look at that gunner seat in the back. That just has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 AK-47s. That's their solution. Let's line up 6 AK-47s in a row and have someone point them all at the drone and hope that one of the bullets hits it. I mean, that's what they're testing. That's their solution.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's just so hard to deal with.
Disguising stuff.
And those are those jammers that they use. I've seen a lot of those at they have them at NFL stadiums and stuff now. A lot of them have the Chinese use them a lot. The Chinese have a ton of these guns, and it's like, do they have a drone problem themselves?
Yeah, so
Makes me wonder.
It depends on the range, but that shoots a radio frequency at the drone to basically confuse it and jam out whatever radio frequency the operator is using. But those, realize you have to have line of sight for that. That's not like, you can't blanket an area. You can't just say, oh, let's just do the whole area. That's a line of sight thing. And with a drone moving very fast, it can be hard to hit it. This one, I find really interesting. The backpacks that they're putting on soldiers now to basically send out radio frequencies everywhere in all directions, so that if a drone comes near, it'll fall out of the sky before it can actually hit this guy.
Yeah, and there's got to be a lot of juice because he's got fans trying to cool that off on his back, and it's the shotgun approach. I mean, this is just an oversized shotgun shell, right? You just put as many pellets out and hope that you hit it.
This is 5 AK-47s with a trigger bar that fires all 5 simultaneously, and that's what Russia's testing. It's kind of like the 6 side by side, but this is kind of staggered. I mean, this is something you'd see on like Demolition Ranch on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Wouldn't expect that this would be a solution on the front lines. Smoke screens, obviously. Camouflage. What's this?
That looks like something that's transmitting, or is that a drone itself? I mean, there's something going on here because looks like it's got landing pods on the bottom.
It's some kind of anti-drone system. It's Russia. They won't tell us what it's all about. But those are basically some of the systems that at least Russia is testing. Ukraine has many of the same. So it's possible you could shoot lasers at it. But again, you still need line of sight.
Yeah, and it's hard enough to point a laser pointer at a dot on the wall, let alone try to follow a drone with a laser that's got enough power to burn it out of the sky, right? I mean, there's a lot that would go into trying to take that down with even lasers. This is turning into a new level of warfare, a warfare that we've got to pivot with, or a country will be doomed to be defeated by it. Yeah. And what's to stop them from having an SUV-sized one that is flying with a low-flying, low-yield nuclear weapon? And that's what makes me nervous here, because their payload is what makes me nervous. We can't stop this. Are they going to illegalize drones here? I mean, the FAA is going to have to do something. Something has to be done. I don't think it's going to happen under this administration. I don't think they have the balls to do it.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say whoever's doing this didn't go through the FAA to get the paperwork.
Yeah, but what does the FAA get?
That's kind of why I stopped flying my drone, is because you have to go through the paperwork. You have to actually etch the serial number on it. I was like, it's not. I live too close to an airport anyway. I can't fly it where I live. But I guarantee whoever's doing this isn't following the regulations. So then when you get to, let's legislate it away. Well, if they're not following the existing rules, what's going to stop them from just ignoring whatever you pass, right? It's the same deal with gun control. This guy who shot the CEO, the United Health CEO, used, it came out, we were kind of hypothesizing, it was a 3D printed lower of the handgun. Yeah. Might be why it didn't work. I have a homemade gun that I made that doesn't quite cycle as well as my other one.
No.
And no matter what I do and what I try and file down, I just can't get it right. So it's like, okay, that's a last ditch effort gun.
Right. Single shot at that point.
Yeah. So you ban that, but you saying that it's illegal to do it doesn't mean anything if the guy's willing to print this thing and assassinate someone, right? The law is only put in place to basically put the fear of God into people, the fear of the judicial system into people, and to basically say the cons outweigh any of the pros. Oh, you want to build this? Guess what? You're going to go to prison for 5 to 10 years. Yeah. Well, if you're already willing to kill someone,
what's the extra 5 to 10 for the drone?
There's nothing to dissuade them. Exactly. So same with gun control, same with these drones. Here we have a video after Jeff Van Drew put this out. We have a video of the Pentagon just denying it.
Jen, Sabrina, can you tell me what the Pentagon is doing to address this issue of drone sightings over New Jersey? It's near sensitive installations. The FBI is involved. What is the Pentagon doing?
Sure. So at this time, aware of those drone sightings that have been reported, at this time we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
Jeez.
Listen, I can understand them wanting to deny it, but the fact that they're saying it's not military, they're saying it's not Iranian. I think I heard one clip saying that they don't think it's civilian. Well, then what the hell is
What the hell is it? There's nothing left. Like aliens at this point? I mean, give me a break.
Here's a clip from Bedminster. Which Donald Trump has a house in Bedminster, right? He has his golf course in Bedminster. I mean, that is a commercial drone. That's a hub. That's big, but you can see the flashing yellow and green lights. That's not a UFO, but it's pretty big. That's much bigger than what you get if you go to Best Buy right now.
Yeah, and you could just put lights on there to make it look like a drone too. I mean, there might be that bit of obfuscation here, right? Make it look like something that's harmless while it is harmful. But yeah, it's creepy. There's an uncontrolled airspace that exists right now over the United States. And we've got nothing to do with. I mean, we've got nothing to match it.
But the funny thing is, they're saying it's not military. It's not Iran, it's not aliens. And it's
not a foreign actor.
It doesn't pose a threat. Well, if you don't know who the hell it is, how can you know it doesn't pose a threat?
Yeah, exactly.
What are we doing here? So obviously they know who it is. If they're confident enough, which also might be a lie, if they're confident enough to say, oh, these don't pose a threat, go about your day, it's fine. Also, we don't know who it is, but we pinky swear promise they don't pose a threat. That tells me that they know who it is. And it might be them. It might be a contractor. I mean, you can say it's not us and be telling the truth if it's a defense contractor.
Yeah.
Tests of their own,
sure,
right? It's just the obfuscation, the lying, the cover-ups. It gets to be so much. And at some point you wonder why. Why are they refusing to just tell the truth? Maybe it's national security. Maybe they don't want to admit it. They claim that the balloon wasn't a Chinese spy balloon too.
I have nothing to see here. That's what really bugs me about the whole thing. Don't worry about it, gang. Nothing to see here. If you lived in Jersey right now, do you think you're going to be sleeping okay at night, knowing that one of these things just might crash into your house by accident?
Oh, yeah.
Or it starts dropping stuff on you that you don't want?
Yeah.
There's a clear dereliction of duty by the president here not to do something about it. Maybe they are doing something about it. We don't know, but I haven't seen any of our aircraft up there. I haven't seen any other drones trying to intercept these other drones. There's no response to something. It's uncontrolled.
The other problem is that we're encouraging companies to get in the air, right? So we're crowding the airspace as it is. Walmart now has delivery drones. That's
Amazon
now being put into effect, and this was not too long ago. There was a guy. Let me see if I can get this to. A man, of course, it's a Florida man. Florida man was arrested for shooting down a Walmart delivery drone. Shot it with his 9mm pistol. Now, you don't want to do that. What goes up must come down. That bullet has to come down somewhere, and it's going to come down awfully fast. But you can't say, it causes you no risk. It's nothing to worry about. Well, people obviously feel differently. People obviously feel that this is something to worry about, that this is something they should worry about. And when you have people taking it into their own hands and shooting up in the air, at that point, that might be more dangerous. That might be more dangerous than whatever these things are. But the denial, you expect it. I mean, they deny everything. They deny everything.
Good boy. And if there is a state actor who is putting stuff over our sky, is that an act of war?
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like this is precursors, right? And that's what makes it dangerous, because if it is Iran, they just kind of signed the declaration of war right there.
Like, we fly over other countries all the time. That's like the flip side. That's the other side of this coin, right? So yeah, it is incredibly offensive for us to think that there could be an Iranian boat. It's called a mothership. It's just a ship that has a bunch of drones on it. It seems like it's offensive, like it should violate something for them to fly over our territory, right? But we do that to other countries all the time. And you know what? We also send armed drones over other countries all the time. Mm-hmm. And we also drop bombs and shoot missiles at things in other countries all the time.
All the time.
That we're not actually at war with.
But it doesn't happen to us, damn it.
Yeah. We have satellites parked over other countries, just staring down all the time. It's the kind of thing that, this isn't anti-American to say, but it's the kind of thing that it's like a do as we say, not as we do, right? We have made we've built this country on spying on other countries. Now, obviously, Iranian ship off our coast sending drones over American towns and cities, that is a problem. That's definitely a problem. But we can't act like we're somehow morally superior when we're doing the exact same thing to Iran, right? We
can.
High altitude surveillance planes that they can't even reach with missiles, satellites pointing straight down. We're doing the same thing. I don't think the solution, there's not really an easy solution, right?
I don't know if there is a solution.
We can't give up. Our surveillance state, but we also can't allow them to fly these. It's tough. But for the White House to come out and the Pentagon to come out and say, oh, it's nothing, just go about your day. We don't know who it is, but we can tell that it's not posing a threat at all. You can't have it both ways. So that's how you know that they're lying.
Yeah, I have a really hard time believing the administration and their proxies for anything they put out right now, especially in the lame duck presidency of Joe Biden. They've got nothing to lose. Yeah, let's just keep it a secret. Let's just not make it a problem. We'll make it the next president's problem. And when he comes into office, we'll make sure that we make it his problem in the media. Trump, what are you going to do about this? And there's no answer. I mean, somebody's going to have to come up with a way to defend against drones. And we're spending all our money on, fancy jets, big ships, and these tiny little things are what are making us the most worried. So
yeah,
it's weird, man. I mean, I wonder if this is going to start happening off of close to Florida, California, Washington, Oregon. Is there any other areas where there might be military installations where they might want to take a look? And I think it's more terrorists than anything, because if they really wanted to check out military bases, they'd be over military bases. Why be over just a general population? Unless you're trying to create an atmosphere, right? An atmosphere that you're never safe. An atmosphere that they can strike at any time, and that it could just be good old fashioned terrorism.
Yeah,
which still sucks.
My computer's frozen, so I can't change. So if you want to add anything to the screen, it's gonna have to come from you. But
yeah, no worries.
Coming out just now, a judge has blocked The Onion from buying InfoWars. and we're learning more about what that was about. As we talked about this in the past, the left in the Onion and the Sandy Hook parents it seems like they tried to pull a fast one. And so they got this judgment against Alex Jones for $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion, which is insane. Insane. $1.2 billion. Alex Jones says, I don't have $1.2 billion. So the court says, okay, sell everything you have. Sell everything you have and get $1.2 billion. Okay, so they took InfoWars and they put it up for sale. And the Sandy Hook parents, it seems that they were working with the Onion to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And as collateral to buy it, they were putting up the money that they were owed by Alex Jones, which is like, it's circular. You can't it's not how it works, right?
Yeah.
So they're bidding to buy it from the auctioneer, but that's not how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to be sold so that the money can then go to the plaintiffs. The plaintiffs buying it will give them no money, right? So it can't work. So the judge looked at it today and rightly said, no, you can't do that. In this court, the judgment is that you are owed money. Judgment's that you are owed money, not that you have now the right to destroy Alex Jones's life.
Yeah.
You have the right to cause him pain. You have the right to monetary damages. And if you are going to demand that money, right, which is what they sued for, if you're going to get that money, you're going to sell things. You have to sell things for as much as possible. You have to sell things for as much as possible. Otherwise, it's just a pointless endeavor.
Yeah.
Right. A completely pointless endeavor. So the other thing the judge says, he thought that even the Alex Jones aligned bids, which was for $3.5 million, was too low. Well, that's not how it works. You put the company up for bid.
Because that's what
if you have a real auction, you take one bid. Okay, who can bid the most? The market will tell you how much the company's actually worth. Now there are a lot of things in here that have kind of maybe devalued InfoWars a bit. I know that Elon Musk and X, they are suing they're getting involved to block the forced sale of Alex Jones's X account. So there's lots of things like that are going around. Alex Jones, I believe I was reading that he has a licensing deal for his name. So the minute that InfoWars gets sold, Alex Jones can rescind the licensing deal, and they can't use his name, image, likeness at all. It basically makes InfoWars worthless, right?
Worthless the moment that he would do that.
Which
Wow.
We all know that it is. InfoWars is nothing without Alex Jones. I mean, if he was, God forbid, if he was to pass away, they could continue on in his legacy, right? But without Alex Jones and his legacy, InfoWars is nothing. You can't just park a different website on Infowars.com and just hope that it generates revenue.
I mean, even if they took it, he's just going to start something else because it'll be worthless, like you say, without him. It won't be.
Oh yeah,
InfoWars.
He already has. It's the Alex Jones store, and every time he pitches it, he says, "InfoWars does not own the AlexJonesStore.com. Does not own it. They will not get it." That's what he always says. I'm not sure if that was a good.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I like it. Did you look in the comments? There's somebody putting some stuff up there that I'm like, who is this person?
And
about wow,
surveillance stuff.
Very interesting.
There's definitely cool. I mean, the video that we showed of this, I don't know if this in New Jersey is what this gentleman's talking about. This feels like it's almost like, I mean, this is swarm behavior. If this is one person, this is a swarm of drones doing something very specific. It would seem to me that there are better ways to get surveillance of facilities or places than to put that many drones with bright lights up on the air. If you want to get surveillance at night, you don't fly with any lights.
Well, the person is making the claim that we know exactly what those are and starts listing all this crazy technology, which I'm not going to put up here because I really don't want the feds breathing down our throats. So I don't know who they are, but man, they've got I wouldn't question their. Yeah, this is getting ready. Yeah, it makes me worried, man. I don't know. But I like the person that's posting that stuff right now. You seem very credible. I just don't want the FBI at my door if what you're talking about can't go out. So I really don't. You know, but it scares me. Go ahead.
No, here's just something crazy. Let me see if I can put this. My computer's unfroze. We've talked about on this podcast a lot about Act Blue.
Oh yeah,
Act Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Act Blue. This is coming out just today. House investigation is showing that Act Blue did not ban foreign gift cards until 2024, September 2024.
So that this year
you could be overseas buying like an Amex gift card and use it in Act Blue with one of these Smurf addresses, because that's the allegation, right? That there are people with inside the United States or outside that are donating to campaigns and using real people as the Smurfs, as the stand-in, right? So like there have been undercover investigations. James O'Keefe, other organizations have knocked on these people's door after looking through FEC documents and saying, hey, did you, like this one, did you really donate $16,000 to Democrats in the last 12 months? And they're like, no, I'm on assistance. I'm on food stamps. I don't have $16,000 to give. Well, people have found that these individuals, these Americans, are reliable Democrats. Maybe they donated 1 or 2 times. So what do? They funnel money to different Democrat candidates and causes through Act Blue with little payments, $5 here, $10 here, $20 here, not to arouse suspicion, and say, oh yeah, this is this person doing it, donating on their behalf. You get their name, you get their address. You're not stealing their credit card. You're not stealing their money. You just need them to give legitimacy to your illegal donation.
Just wild.
So they didn't block foreign gift cards until
you could use that anywhere,
September 2024.
Right? Because, all right, let's say I get a gift card in Dubai, right? I could spend all that money in Dubai. Could I bring that gift card to the U.S. and still spend it here? Like if it was in my pocket?
Yeah, it was Amex. Amex is Amex.
So Amex is Amex. So they could be given like a $20,000 Amex gift card. Yeah. Come to the U.S. and then it would be untraceable and trackable.
They don't even need to come here. They just need to go to Act Blue. Just go to the different donation sites. They do it all the way over there. That they didn't. Other part of this is in September 20. Not until September 2024 did Act Blue block donations from foreign sanctioned countries.
Holy shit!
So,
oh my God,
sanctions on Russia, right? Act Blue was letting Russians donate to American political candidates.
Doing exactly what they accuse the Republicans of doing.
Yeah.
Whoa. Holy shit. Are we surprised though?
No, not at all. We've reached the part of daylight savings where when we go live, I start getting a little bit of sunlight through my green screen.
That's so sad too, because you're an hour ahead of me too. And I'm like,
I know.
I hate time change. I was going to go over there. But dude, think about all that money they could have funneled in. Could have been hundreds of millions of dollars.
Billions. You hear about, oh wow, Kamala Harris raised $100 million in one day. Yeah, oh yeah? Where were all those people on election day, right? They were trying to create this narrative that she had so much support behind her. That's what they needed. The people loved that she just stole the Democrat nomination without getting a single primary vote. So what they do? They funneled. What was the actual amount? How much did she raise in one
$2 billion. I thought it was like a $2 billion campaign, wasn't it? Like it was the biggest money campaign ever. And there were days where she was bringing in hundreds of millions.
Her first day was $81 million, which was a record, single day. They said it came from 888,000 donors, and 60%, that was the first time they'd ever given, right? Where were those 888,000 people on election day, right? They certainly weren't in swing states.
No.
They tried to create this narrative that she had such grassroots support The American people love that she stole the nomination from the democratically chosen nominee. I think if you do an investigation, I think you'd find that those donations were fraudulent.
I forgot the question I was just about to ask because I was going, wouldn't Amex have a record of all these cards that were being used? I mean, there's got to be some sort of paper trail that, if subpoenaed, would show us where where this was happening. So, was there a person that was sitting in Ukraine or Russia that's just sitting there pounding money into the Kamala Harris campaign using these fraudulent cards? And I'm sure it would flag because it's legitimate. It's American Express. They're a legitimate company.
Real money. As soon as, like, they don't care where the money comes from. They just need to make sure that their ducks are in a row, that they've crossed the T's, dotted the I's. This person donated $5. No one's going to jump through hoops to investigate a $5, $10, $15, $20 donation from someone.
No.
They're not.
No, not at all.
And no one's going to care. It's like, oh, this guy donated $5 1,000 times. He's donating 20 times a week. No one's going to investigate that. No one.
Right. There's no body that would have the capacity to make that investigation. There's no way you could unravel any of it in a person's lifetime. This would have to be done on a scale that would be a huge investigation. And they're banking on that, right? They know that the time's just not going to be spent doing it. They're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
But what it does is it does put your opponents at a disadvantage because you've worked out a scheme to make it harder for them to raise money. And while at the same time, you're just pouring billions into yourself using a back door that you've created. No, it's going to happen. I mean, there's parts of the onion again here that we have to peel back, man, because this thing's so big. It feels like it's in every facet now. There's some sort of Democrat tied to banking or economies or fraud or criminality that has to be uncovered.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just too much. It's gotten to the point where it's horrible. It's repugnant.
And it's not just the criminality of it, right? I mean, obviously that's a big deal, right? But it's the propaganda aspect of it. Everything you donate is public record. So if you donate, even if you buy a Trump hat at the Trump store, that counts as a donation. You have to say your name, your address, your employer. That goes into FEC records. That's all there. So
It's all trackable.
So it's not just that very wealthy people are funneling millions, even billions of dollars into political campaigns illegally. Yeah, that's terrible. But they're also doing it in the name of someone else, right?
Yeah.
There are people who have been caught up in this. Like, I'm not a Democrat. I don't donate to Democrats. What are you talking about? They're being interviewed. That, I mean,
fraud.
You want to talk about defamation? These are people who now have put into the public record falsehoods that someone is donating to certain causes, certain organizations, certain political campaigns. Now, if I found myself in that list, I would certainly feel like that defamed my character. You can't catch. I wouldn't be caught dead donating Kamala Harris or any Democrats.
Well, what about the campaign contribution laws? If they started doing large amounts of money in your name, do they pay attention to you now? Meaning that, are you the one that becomes liable for them doing a large donation on your behalf? I don't know how that works, right? Because there's limits legally.
I mean, it would be very interesting if someone had money donated in their name, was turn around and say, "Hey, actually, I want a refund, and oh, by the way, I don't have the original card, so just send me a check." That would be very funny if you could coordinate that. But the problem is the FEC reporting requirements. I'm pretty sure they're quarterly. So by the time something has happened, there's nothing you can do about it. That money has been taken and spent. Right?
And who's gonna do anything about it?
Yeah. We'll post this one.
I know, Valiant Thor is hilarious.
Voting for Kamala is like taking a massive shit in your pants, then slipping on a fresh pair of sunglasses and confidently claiming everything is under control. Yes, I've heard that before. The other one I've heard is voting for Kamala is like crapping your pants and changing your shirt.
Valiant Thor put some stuff in here, and I'm like, I've heard of the thing he was talking about there, but it was the scanning stuff that he put up there. I'm like, Valiant, you come back. You keep watching. We like you.
We like
you just
Valiant
keep
Thor.
on coming back. Brother, sister, whatever you are. You just keep on coming back.
Yeah.
We love it.
Anything else? Anything else you're seeing in the news?
The fall of Syria. Like, that's been... Whoa. I don't know what's going to replace the Assad.
Chris Wray just announced he's resigning.
Really?
Yeah. So FBI director resigning. He'll resign on the day that Trump is inaugurated.
Do you think he'll get the pardon here in the next couple days?
I don't know. That would be interesting. I think that if you are a sitting FBI director and you get pardoned, I think you have to immediately resign because the insinuation is that you did something
That you've
unlawful.
committed a crime. Yeah.
They're talking about these preemptive pardons. They're not really covering. They're not really thinking about the ramifications of that, right?
Yeah.
In order to receive a pardon, you have to be guilty.
I know, right? Like,
right?
Where's this going to take us? Oh, it's going to be interesting.
Right? And so if someone receives a pardon, I don't know. Can you reject a pardon? I don't know if you can.
I don't know. Like the other piece is that what happens if they give you a pardon and you didn't even know that you committed a crime? Like you're getting this preemptive pardon. Like, whoa! What am I being pardoned for? Are you investigating me?
You get the preemptive pardon, and then you interview them. You get them in front of a camera and say, "What are you being pardoned for? What crime did you commit?" I didn't commit any crimes. Oh, so will you reject the pardon? Will you turn down the pardon?
Let's not go that far.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's very interesting. I hope that Donald Trump pledging that he's not going to prosecute them is enough to stop these preemptive pardons, because if that's how this ends, if they do this, that is how every administration will go down when it's changing from one party to another.
Yeah.
If they pardon everyone, if Biden pardons everyone, then that will be what every president does anytime it changes from Democrat to Republican, Republican to Democrat.
From here on out, as long as the presidency exists.
That'll just be it.
So,
I mean, he could blanket pardon. He could say, I pardon every federal employee for the last 4 years. He could do that.
Unbelievable. Like
he could do it.
And the pardon was meant to be something that was used rarely by the president, but he was afforded that comfort to be able to do such a thing, right? Leave it up to Joe Biden to take something that's supposed to be used sparingly and just start handing it out to your own son. Like, I'm waiting for the what's next out of them. And Christopher Wray, because you got to remember, he was carrying water for the administration for a long, long time. Yeah. And I wonder how many of these people feel owed, right? How many of these people are waiting for their kickback? And if they don't get a pardon, what do they know and what are they going to say?
Yeah. It's, remember, it was Jimmy Carter who in the 70s issued a pardon for all Vietnam draft dodgers. He didn't even have to name them. He just said, anyone who committed this crime and in these dates, you are pardoned. Biden could literally pardon everyone. He could. He could pardon everyone.
Wow. My whole administration and Kamala Harris.
Doesn't even need to name them. Doesn't even need to name them.
Did you see that? I think Imhoff was separating from Harris.
Oh, is that?
Did you kind of I saw that a few days ago, and over allegations, of course, these are just allegations, that he was having sex with a staffer on the campaign staff. Like, that, if true, would be no wonder Kamala looked like shit the whole time, right? Or maybe they just don't care, or new leaks indicate that Imhoff has left Kamala Harris and they're on the verge of a divorce. So, man, like, I'm starting to feel bad for her now.
Well, I did see a clip of her with like a niece or nephew drinking. So that might be drinking away that. Who knows? Yeah. Obviously, it's bad when anyone separates. It's bad when anyone gets divorced.
Yeah. But he was going to be the first gentleman, right?
But if any of the stories about how abusive she's been towards staff, towards volunteers and things like that, if any of that is true, I can only imagine what he's dealt with.
Oh,
and
yeah,
right.
Right.
At the same time, he himself has credible allegations of domestic abuse against previous partners. Not to mention that he knocked up the nanny. I mean, there's lots. God. These are two people that if you're like, oh, if you're telling me they're splitting up because of personal differences, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
that's it for this edition. Yeah. If everyone likes the podcast, if you like the podcast, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe. We're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, we're on X. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. How did the show go yesterday? I watched for a little bit.
Oh, it's good. Madison is a fireball, and
I commented. You didn't reply to my comment.
Well, I was too busy thinking. I did too. You probably just weren't there. The whole Winter Soldier thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we saw that. I put it up there. When I saw it.
I stayed on for like 5-10 minutes. And he didn't respond, so I just left. Personally, I took it. Just personally. Ignore him. Took it personally. But yeah.
Oh, you shouldn't, man. We didn't even see. So
we have that show Tuesday, Thursdays. So that's exciting. If you like to listen to audio, or if you just want to listen to the show when you're out and about, we have the audio edition of the podcast that goes live everywhere where audio podcasts are found: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podbean, Audible, all great places. Links are in the description. Subscribe there. Even if you watch us live, subscribe so if you're out and about, you can listen while you're doing chores, while you're driving, during your commute, whatnot.
Dealing with kids.
Yep. That's it for this edition. My name is Max McGuire.
I'm Josh Hammerlin.
Remember, the fight to take back the country is not over yet, but the only way we win is if we all stand up and fight together. See you next time.
See you.